In September of 2007, In the Life introduced you to Lorenzo Taylor, who was denied entry into the Foreign Service because of his HIV status. With the help of Lambda Legal, Taylor filed a lawsuit against the Department of State and Condoleezza Rice. Tonight, we look back at the case and update you on this fight against discrimination. Lorenzo Taylor sued Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice under the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which states that no otherwise qualified individuals with handicaps shall be subjected to discrimination.
Here you have the government, our own government, that's supposed to be a model employer. It's supposed to do a better job than the private employment sector under the law when it comes to accommodating people with disabilities and hiring people with disabilities. And yet here we have this exceptionally qualified person, Lorenzo Taylor, and the government is refusing to hire him based on outmoded assumptions about what it means to be HIV positive.
The State Department was enforcing a 1986 ban on hiring HIV-positive applicants to the Foreign Service.
It was a rational and humane policy at that point, but it certainly doesn't make any sense now. Colin Powell came in as Secretary of State back in the year 2000. Powell had been running around the world talking about stigma and discrimination against people with AIDS.
No stigmatization. They are just like anyone else. This is one of those lessons we have to get to all employers and nations around the world.
We started to think that maybe this might be a good time to push for opening the Foreign Service to people that are HIV positive.
Along with 15,000 applicants to the Foreign Service, Lorenzo took the written and oral parts of the exam. Only 15 to 20% pass. Lorenzo was one of them.
Just to make it through that whole process was really exciting.
Exactly.
It really felt like I had a lot of people who had known that this was something I'd wanted, who were there for me. It was really wonderful.
Then came the medical screening.
And one of the pieces they gave me was a form that said HIV testing at the top. And the third paragraph down, it said that if you're HIV positive, you will be no longer considered eligible for employment.
Being HIV positive is one of several medical conditions that require medical monitoring and medication. You are simply not eligible to go to the most difficult posts, the greatest hardship posts. Therefore, you're not worldwide available.
To have it put so succinctly and clearly was jarring. I mean, it was really, really surprising. And I thought, how many people would just have walked out who are HIV positive, would have just walked out at that point? Something inside me just pushed me forward and said, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to get through this.
I've been taking care of Lorenzo for over 10 years. He's one of the successful HIV patients, and his viral load is consistently suppressed to an undetectable level.
The fact that I can manage my own health condition and that I am, according to my own doctors and according to their examination, except for HIV, incredibly healthy, I think makes it difficult to me to understand the arguments.
We're very sympathetic to Mr. Taylor, but at the same time, this principle of worldwide availability cannot be compromised. Leading a normal life in New York or Washington isn't at all the same thing of leading a normal life in Ouagadougou or in Harare or in many other places in the world.
I was certainly willing to travel anywhere and be posted anywhere in the world that the State Department would have put me.
My suspicion is that the blanket ban on new employees who are HIV positive doesn't come from the doctors. It comes from policymakers who have absolutely no concept of what the status of HIV is in this day and age.
You have essentially two choices. One is to maintain a uniform policy that applies to everyone, or the other choice is you have a case-by-case approach. And when you're dealing with 14,000 existing employees and 20,000 who annually, every single year, take the Foreign Service exam, is that second choice really an option?
they're trying to justify their policy by saying that if we let Lorenzo Taylor serve as a Foreign Service officer, we're going to have to let everyone else serve. That isn't what the law requires, and they know that. That law requires you look at the individual. And in fact, when you look at the individual, and you look at Lorenzo Taylor, he can serve.
It's a real 1985 mentality in the 2000s that doesn't recognize the whole evolution in HIV healthcare that's taken place.
So a victory in this case is going to be very important, not just for making the federal government do what it needs to do, but also letting everyone know that discrimination is still happening today and that it's illegal.
Opening a door of opportunity to people that are HIV positive is so important and sends such a strong message to people that are living with HIV around the world that everyone is treated fairly and given the opportunity to serve.
On February 15, 2008, less than 2 weeks before Taylor versus Rice was scheduled to go to trial, the Department of State set new guidelines. Foreign Service applicants will no longer be automatically disqualified due to their HIV status, and they must now be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Taylor now works for a federal public health program in San Francisco.